6:45 a.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Danushka Madawala and read by Geethanjali Ramanayaka. The headlines. The President requests the nation to have faith in the actions that he would take on behalf of the people during this crisis period. The President said that he accepts responsibility for his own actions. Madin full moon Poi Day falls today. The Ceylon Electricity Board has made a request to increase the electricity bills. The Sri Lanka Petroleum Private Tankers Association calls off their strike. Minister Ali Sabri says that the people in the northern and eastern provinces can live in peace in the country after the war was ended. And foreign news, 2 dead after Japan's hit by an earthquake. Now the news in detail. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa requests the nation to have faith in the actions that he would take on behalf of the people during this crisis period. The President made these remarks while addressing the nation yesterday. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa said that he is aware of the shortages of essential items and increase in prices, as well as the issues such as gas shortages, fuel shortages and power cuts. He added that he is sensitive to the many sufferings the people have to experience over the past 2 months. The President said that he knows this situation will continue for reasons beyond his control, though the government makes the maximum possible efforts with regard to these situations. President Rajapaksa said that he accepts responsibility for his own actions. Today, he said that he is determined to make tough decisions to find solutions to the inconveniences that the people are experiencing. He said that a National Economic Council and an advisory committee have been appointed in assistance for these efforts. He said that he will constantly monitor whether the decisions he makes through this are implemented. Therefore, first of all, he requested the nation to have faith in his actions he takes on behalf of the people. He said that he is well aware of the difficulties faced by the people. He said that he was able to better understand and manage all the difficulties faced by the soldiers who were at the forefront of the war against the brutal terrorism and the innocent civilians who were affected by the war. He pointed out that Sri Lanka is not the only country in the world affected by the prevailing crisis situation. The entire world is engulfed with various hardships. Increasing shipping costs, rising commodity prices and shortages of certain goods caused by the COVID-19 pandemic are all beyond the control of the government. However, he said that the government has adopted concessionary initiatives for the benefit of the people. When those who contributed to the creation of this crisis are criticizing the government in front of the people today, he said that he was attempting to immediately resolve this crisis and provide relief to the people. In a crisis situation like this, it is the responsibility of the politicians and intellectuals of a country to collectively find solutions to the issues, he added. The President said that the root cause of the current issues in the foreign exchange crisis. He further said that the projected export earnings for this year is $12 billion before the rupee was floated. According to the data of the last 2 months, the country has to bear $22 billion as the import costs this year. Accordingly, this will result in a trade deficit of $10 billion. However, once the rupee is floated, export earnings are expected to reach $13 billion. This will also reduce the cost of imports from $22 billion to $20 billion, he added. The President said that if this happens, the trade deficit could be reduced to $7 billion and the government should aim for this target. He also says that the country can also expect $4 billion by providing export services and $5 billion in remittances from expatriate workers. Accordingly, he said that trade deficit will be $2.4 billion. He said that all must take action to fill this deficit and increase the foreign exchange reserves. Due to several decisions he has taken in the recent past, the President said that the government was able to control the import expenditure to a great extent. He said that the government suspended importing vehicles 2 years ago after foreseeing this issue in advance. In addition, he said that they encouraged local industries and also stopped the importation of many non-essential food items and took steps to cultivate those crops in the country. Now, he said that the nation can witness the successful results of those initiatives. The tourism industry, which was collapsed due to the COVID-19 pandemic, is reviving. The last 2 months have seen a clear increase in tourist arrivals to Sri Lanka, he added. He said that Sri Lanka is a nation that has experienced many adversities and at the same time conquered those challenges throughout the history. He said that the nation has faced foreign invasions, great famines, natural disasters, and threats of terrorism. The way the government dealt with the COVID-19 situation has been praised even by the international organizations, he added. The President urged the Cabinet, the Parliament and public officials to work together as a team to achieve the desired goal of providing a better country for the children with great commitment. He said he entered into politics on people's invitation. The nation has placed utmost trust in him. Therefore, the President said that he will never betray the trust of the people have placed in him and protect it with great commitment. Madin full moon Poya falls today. This Poya day is significant for Buddhists all over the globe. On a day like today, Prince Siddhartha Gautama, after leaving the royal palace, visited the city of Kimbulwatpura for the first time following his enlightenment. It was on a day like today that the Buddha, along with a retinue of 20,000 disciples, trekked from Veluvanarama to Kimbulwatpura to meet his father King Suddhodana, relatives and friends of the Sakya clan. Princess Yasodhara, taking refuge in the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha, and the ordination of her son Rahula and Prince Nanda were some of the important events that took place on this day. Almost all the temples in the country have organized a number of Sila programs to celebrate Madin Full Moon Poya Day. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The Ceylon Electricity Board has made a request to increase the electricity bills. The request was made due to the increased fuel prices in the country. The last electricity price increase took place in the year 2013. In the year 2014, the prices were reduced after inaugurating the third generator of the Norachole power plant. The decision was made at a meeting held at the ministry with the leadership of Minister Pavitra Vanyarashi. The request will be presented to the Cabinet of Ministers on Monday. Chairman of the Sri Lanka Petroleum Private Tankers Association, AAMS Adhikari, says their strike was called off last afternoon. The association launched a strike demanding a hike in transport fees. He said that the decision was taken after discussions with the Energy Minister. Meanwhile, Petroleum Corporation says that distribution of fuel is taking place island-wide as usual. Chairman of the corporation, Sumit Vijayasinghe, said that filling stations are giving sufficient stocks of fuel. He said that fuel stocks needed by the industries are also being issued. And that ends local news for now.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Minister Ali Sabri says that the people in the northern and eastern provinces can live in peace in the country after the war was ended. A new amendment will be added to the Prevention of the Terrorism Act. During a media briefing at the Government Information Department yesterday, he said that emphasis was laid at the 49th UN Human Rights Council sessions as to how much people suffered during the 30-year-old war. And that was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Watch Life is brought to you by
More prizes, more gains with CIB New Year offers. Valuable gifts for every bill. 20% discount for bank cards until 10th of April. Visit CIB today.
The Secretary to the Minister of Energy, KDR Olga, says that there will be an uncontrollable situation if people gather diesel without a limit. Therefore, she has requested the public not to collect diesel unnecessarily. She said that importation of oil is taking place. And that was Watchlight.
More prizes, more gains with CIB New Year offers. Valuable gifts for every bill. 20% discount for bank cards until 10th of April. Visit CIB today.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
No matter what anyone says, for your lease, visit the Leasing Mahagethara. People's Leasing, Friendly Leasing Mahagethara. More information from the nearest People's Leasing branch.
People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
World News headlines. Biden brands Putin a war criminal. 2 dead after Japan's hit by an earthquake. Nazdin Zaghari Ratcliffe and Anusha Ajuri on their way home to the UK. Now the world news in detail. US President Joe Biden has labelled Russian leader Vladimir Putin a war criminal in a move likely to escalate diplomatic tensions even further. Mr. Biden delivered the remark off the cuff in response to a reporter's question at the White House. It is the first time he has used such language to condemn President Putin, and the White House later said he was speaking from his heart. The Kremlin, however, said it was unforgivable and rhetoric. A powerful earthquake hit northeast Japan on Wednesday night, temporarily cutting power to 2 million homes. The magnitude 7.3 tremor struck the same region where a major earthquake triggered the Fukushima nuclear disaster 11 years ago. 2 people died and at least 90 were injured, officials say. In some areas, it was too forceful for people to stand, and buildings rattled in the capital Tokyo, AFP news agency reports. Aftershocks were said to be possible in Fukushima, Miyagi, and Yamagata prefectures. British Iranian nationals Nazanin Zaghari-Ratcliffe and Anusha Ashuri will be reunited with their families in the UK after being freed from Iran. Mrs. Zaghari-Ratcliffe will return to her husband and 7-year-old daughter, Gabriella, who plans to show her mother her new toys. It's going to be the beginning of a new life, Richard Ratcliffe said. Mr. Ashuri's family said they could now rebuild the foundations of their family with their cornerstone back in place. In a statement, they hailed his release and returned to the UK after 5 long years before thanking those who worked to bring him home. A second man, Morad Tabas, who is of Iranian, UK and US nationality, has been released from prison but is not yet allowed to leave Iran. Back to the headlines of the world news. Biden brands Putin a war criminal. 2 dead after Japan's hit by earthquake. National Zaghari-Ratcliffe and Anusha Ashuri on their way home to the UK. And that ends World News.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
For your wheel lease, visit the Leasing Mahagedara. People's Leasing, friendly leasing Mahagedara. More information from the nearest People's Leasing branch.
People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
Development News is brought to you by... Let's take all out of the coconut tree and make the island thriving and prosperous. Call our hotline 1928. WhatsApp 070 400 1928.
The Electricity Board says that the Broadland power plant with a capacity of 35 megawatts will be added to the national grid soon. It can generate 126 gigawatts annually. The estimated cost of the power plant, of which constructions commenced in 2013, is more than $80 million. It is the last hydropower plant of the Lakshapana power plant complex. Minister Pavitra Wanyarachi made an inspection tour of the power plant. She said that government expects to commence generating electricity from the power plant as soon as possible. And that was Development News.
Development News was brought to you by... The coconut tree is well grown in almost all the parts of the island. It is an exceptional source of extra income. The shell, the husk and almost all the parts of the coconut tree makes you money, providing you with an excellent extra source of income. It will also help to nourish the economy of the country. You will be guided with all necessary informations regarding the coconut cultivation, with the novel cultivation techniques and all other related and upgraded informations by the Coconut Research Institute, Lunavilla. Call our hotline 1928. WhatsApp 070 400 1928.
Sports News is brought to you by...
Sampath Bank, we present your future.
Joe Root punished West Indies with yet another century as England took command of the second test on day 1 in Barbados. Root could have been given a caught behind on 23 and was dropped on 34 but ended on 119 not out, his 25th test ton and second in as many innings as the tourist closed on 244 for 3. England's ascendancy was checked slightly by the loss of Dan Lawrence to end the day after he compiled a dazzling 91. Lawrence had looked on course for his maiden test ton after combining with Root for a brilliant aggressive stand of 164 but shipped Jason Holder to extra cover in the final over. And that was Sports News.
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB You Trust.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
The U.S. Federal Reserve is raising interest rates for the first time since 2018 in an attempt to bring fast rising prices under control. The U.S. Central Bank said it was lifting its benchmark rate by 0.25 percent points and signaled plans for further rate rises in the months ahead. The move come as the economy faces new uncertainty caused by the Ukraine war and coronavirus outbreaks in China. They are expected to have widespread global repercussions. By raising rates, the Fed will make it more expensive for households, businesses and governments to borrow. And that was Business News.
Business News, sponsored by
Cash through NSB globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSB Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSB Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U Trust.
Economic news, courtesy of
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act No. 42 of 2011.
Saudi Arabia and Sri Lanka have agreed to strengthen bilateral relations with a focus on economic cooperation following the inaugural visit of the kingdom's foreign minister to the South Asian country on Monday. Prince Faisal bin Farhan met his Sri Lankan counterpart GL Pires in Colombo as part of his trip to the island nation. The officials said the prince's visit was a first by a Saudi foreign minister to Sri Lanka on a bilateral level. The two agreed to strengthen relations on a multitude of areas of bilateral interest for mutual benefit, the Sri Lankan Ministry of Foreign Affairs said in a statement. Saudi Arabia also stressed its commitment to further deepen the already buoyant bilateral relations between the two countries and emphasized economic cooperation during the meeting, the statement said. And that was Economic News.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act No. 42 of 2011. The Weather Report.
Fairly cloudy skies can be expected in the central, southern, western, Sabragamu, Uva and eastern provinces. Showers or thundershowers will occur at a few places in the western, Sabragamu, southern and Uva provinces and in the Nuwara Eliya and Kandy districts after 2 p.m. A few showers will occur in the coastal areas of southern province during the morning too. Mainly fair weather will prevail elsewhere over the island. And that was the weather report. And to end this news broadcast, back to the headlines. The President requests the nation to have faith in the actions that he would take on behalf of the people during this crisis period. The President said that he accepts responsibility for his own actions. Madin Full Moon Poy Day falls today. The Ceylon Electricity Board has made a request to increase the electricity bills. The Sri Lanka Petroleum Private Tankers Association calls off their strike. Minister Ali Sabri says that the people in the northern and eastern provinces can live in peace in the country after the war was ended. And in foreign news, 2 dead after Japan's hit by an earthquake. And with that, we end this news broadcast from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation, and I'll return you back to Sound the Thumb